Because when you like Instagram,
Facts.
it was like I was like, dang, it's only like 9, 10, like it's not even that late, like I thought it was. And then my mom hit me up, and I was just like, dang, all right. She's like, can you come over at 12? Sure, mom. It's not like I had anything else planned on my day off. Why not?
Look, don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. Look, one day you gonna be that mom Dukes.
I don't know about that. I'm the auntie, you know, just the fun aunt.
Speaking of that Kodak, when we gonna get a mini Kodak?
Relax, bro.
When we gonna get a mini
I
Kodak?
I come to the Discord to avoid all that questions. You don't come to the Discord and then you're asking me that. Like,
You're
come
right.
on,
You're
man. You
right.
sound like everybody else. Let me live.
Don't do that.
No. It's in the future. It's just whatever God's plan is. That's how we whirling with it.
Can I be honest
We're
with
not
you?
gonna what?
I feel like you're gonna have twins. Have you ever gotten that before? Has anyone ever said that to you?
Oh, 100%. I mean, if
You
I do have kids though, I mean, I want twins. Um, I do want twins because I feel like if I have twins, that's it. I'm not gonna be looking for anything else. I really want twin boys,
cap
if anything. No, it's no cap. But I
cap.
really want twin boys. But if God like really hears me out, then He'll give me a girl and a boy, and
What
it's
you wanna
just like,
fill it,
hey,
Lil? What you want, Rugrats?
yeah, that's all I need, just a feeling liver, and then I'm really good, cause that I always want a boy, and then my other half he wants a girl, so I'm just like, hmm,
Oh, does he? That's interesting.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was always I won't say against having a daughter, but I was always like, please give me a son. Please give me a son. Please give me a son.
Mhm.
I just
I I don't say it anymore because my mom's always like, you keep saying if you don't want girl, that's all you're gonna have. So I try to refrain from saying that. But a mini Kodak is not what the world needs just because Kodak is enough for herself, and a mini Kodak, I just know she's gonna be like 3 times worse. So I'm trying to save the world. Okay, that's all I'm trying to save the world from another me.
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Me and my baby mom, we both wanted a boy,
Hmm.
and we got a girl, but we got a boy in a girl's body. She like she's the biggest tomboy I've ever seen in my entire life. Like sometimes I just look at her and be like, "What are you doing with yourself?"
She's a little you. She's a little
Yeah,
Murph in a female body.
yo, she be burning me out with that shit. I'd be like, relax, and she'd be so proud of herself.
That's how you were when you were little, probably.
She'd be looking at me with a smile on her face, like, I'm dirty. Yeah, I see that. Believe me, I know.
Oh man. So what we getting into today? Are you
Look,
on? Are you streaming already or no?
I am, I am, I am. I went in sneakily during our conversation.
Oh, that's what's up. I didn't get to know you. Wait, maybe I did.
Wow, Kodak not Noti game confirmed.
Oh yeah, I did get it. First of all, it's just because my phone's on Do Not Disturb like 10 out of 10 times, so I really don't.
You
I really
definitely
don't be.
that don't even surprise me. You strike me as a do not disturb type of person.
100%.
But guess what
Because
kind
I
of
still
person
get
I am?
what?
Notify anyways.
And
You feel me?
that's crazy.
I'm gonna send my shit through. I'm gonna watch it shake and everything.
And it still won't be read. I don't care.
That's crazy.
No, I mean I try not to be so light skinned, but when iPhone made that Do Not Disturb, it was a wrap.
You couldn't help
It was a
yourself.
wrap. I couldn't help myself. But I'm the type of person like I leave my read receipts on because I
Uh,
want you to know I looked at it and I didn't respond. Like that's what kind of timing I be on.
that don't
Like I want
surprise
you
me
to
at all.
I want you to know that even though it tells you I'm on do not disturb, you decided to send that message. So I'm gonna read it and not reply to you. Just because.
What
Like,
if it's important?
no, let me take that back because I do have it's only important if my mom
Oh, she
calls,
be frauding.
my brother. Those are the only people that can come through. My mom, my brother, my best friend, and my other half, and my sister. That's it.
So,
Oh, and my grandma. It's like 5 people.
so if I
And those are
text,
the main 5 people I talk to.
so if I text you and it's on Do Not Disturb, and I push it through, you're just gonna leave me on red.
I'm gonna be truthful.
Priority you think scrolling is, but right,
Mm-mm. Because if I'm in my ASMR scroll, oh, you better not disrupt me because
you be in
then
the
I won't
zone
be
with that
able.
ain't.
Yes, my ASMR scroll is very important to me. That's the time I need. I need at least it's really supposed to just be like 10, 15 minutes, but it goes to like maybe 30 to an hour just because it actually calms me down. And like I'm not talking about that food ASMR where they hear somebody like crunching and that irritates me so bad.
What kind of
I'm more
ASMR?
of a I like the carpet cleaning, the rug cleaning ASMR where you just watch them clean the rugs.
So
And
is it more of a visual thing for you than it is a like noise thing?
well, I would say yes, but actually no because I actually like the sponge. I don't know if you ever seen where they like take the household cleaners and stuff like that, like Ajax and Pine Sol and all that, and then they're like squeezing the sponge. I actually like love that too. So it's not like I don't like watching it, but I like the sound of it as well. Like this, I think it's really with water. Water is very calming to me. I don't like to be in like an ocean or anything like that, but sometimes when I have trouble sleeping, I'll go to YouTube and like they have the thunderstorm and stuff like that. I'll put it on and I'll fall asleep.
What's going on, Debbie? How many subs to shave beard? That I ain't gonna lie, to shave the beard is crazy. How many? Kodak, what you think? How many subs to shave the beard?
One.
Fuck no.
Nah,
That one is crazy.
I would say maybe 5, 10, 5 or 10. No, wait, hold on. I'm gonna see.
I
I'm gonna
don't
see.
know. I don't.
Let me.
To shave the beard, I want to say,
Oh, your beard is kind of long. I'm just looking at your stream right now.
yeah, what the fuck? I got my beard is golden. You better stop playing with me. Go play with somebody else's beard. Yes.
But
I got the Paul. I got the Paul Bunyan.
I feel like your shit probably grows back fast. No?
It does, but like my beard is my prized possession. Like I value my beard more than I value most people in my life.
Okay, do you have to shave the mustache too? Does that count towards the beard?
If first of all, if I shave the beard, I'm going goatee. So the mustache is staying. That's one thing. I will never go baby face ever in my life. That's one thing I will not do. Going baby face is out of the question. But to shave the beard, I'll say 20 subs. That's a good number, right? 'Cause shaving the beard is
It's just
crazy.
hair. It will grow back. It will grow back. Something. It wouldn't
Mm,
take that long. Plus, it's the summertime. I know it's probably hot and sweaty and everything. Yeah, grow that
I
shit
don't,
out.
I don't care about none of that. I want it longer and thicker. But
Finesse gang, I say about 6. The lucky number 7. 7.
seven is not getting this beard shaped. I promise y'all that. I promise y'all
Okay,
that.
15.
All right, 15.
20. 20 is it?
I
15?
15, 15. But we can settle at 15. 15 subs, I'll shave the beard. And I'll shave it on stream. Let's go, Ray Sean. You got some July 4th leftovers in there? That's crazy. I was just eating some leftovers. I was getting busy. Speaking of Kodak, you got any leftovers? What you got left over from 4th of July?
Nothing. My family greedy. They take everything. I was late to the party, so I only had a plate saved for me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh. You late to a lot of things, aren't you?
I'm gonna say yeah. You can go with it. I am. I most likely will be late to my own funeral.
Alright, that's corny. Corny.
It's not corny. It's fact.
She's
Some
corny.
some
I'd be late to my own
some people
funeral.
always. It's true. I don't care about time. I'm on my own timing. It's also why I get in trouble at work.
What's good, Ken Dog? I appreciate you for stopping by, Kenny. All right, but no. All right, so let's get into it. We supposed to be talking. We supposed to be talking the NBA. I sat here and went through every single signing, trade, and potential trades that could happen. But
hmm
what do you think the best signing has been of free agency so far?
The best one.
Yeah, what have you seen and you was just like, damn, that's a good ass deal.
Mm,
First of all, before anything else, let me just say, man, my boy Bruce Brown is no longer with us in Denver.
that's the best one. Y'all losing. A good player right there.
We're losing a
Mm.
great players. Got smart to the
Yeah,
Grizzlies as the best move of free agency so far.
I hate seeing Smart leave the Celtics because Celtics is my team, but I'm also happy that he's going to the Grizzlies because that's my other team. Um, and I feel like that's a good move though. I mean, bad on Celtics part, but good on Grizzlies part.
See, I feel like Boston lost a lot of identity moving on from Marcus Smart. Like
Yeah.
originally, like you look at Boston and you're like, all right, this is a defensive minded team. They're gonna go out there, they're gonna hustle, they're gonna play defense, and Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, they're gonna hold it down on offense. Then moving on from Marcus Smart to bring in Kristaps Porzingis, it signals a new era where they're going to be like offensive minded, and I don't know how I feel about that for Boston. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I was reading because they haven't fully decided on about Jalen Brown yet. So depending on what they do with that move, I feel like they're gonna have to ask for somebody like big if they want to get rid of Jalen Brown, if they want to trade Jalen Brown.
So let
Um,
me ask you: Do you see? So do you think Damian Lillard is enough to get Jalen Brown on the table?
I mean, I feel like that would be a fair trade. I mean, they're probably gonna have to add a little bit more, like probably like a first round pick or something. But I don't see. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I really think Dame's going to Miami.
See, but for what though? Because from what I'm hearing, like Portland is not that excited with what Miami is able to offer. So if a deal does get done, what does it take for Miami to get the deal done? Because Tyler Hero is clearly not enough to be the focal point. So if you don't go Tyler
Well,
Hero, go ahead.
I thought it was Tyler Hero, Duncan Robertson, and who else did they have on there? I thought I saw. Was that in the
I
trade?
want to say, yeah, I want to say it was them two and Nikola Jovic.
I mean, first of all, Duncan Robinson is a shooter.
He is. But if Portland isn't happy with the trade offer, they're not happy with the trade offer. I'm not saying that's not a good trade. I think that is more than a good trade for Portland. But if
Well,
they
see, in Portland. Oh, go ahead.
now, I was just gonna say, but if Portland doesn't see that as a good trade, there's nothing to make them make that deal.
True. I just feel like Portland. The reason why Dame wants to leave is because Portland wants to rebuild. He's ready to win. So if you keep him there, this is where my problem comes in. Like for Jalen Brown, for instance, like he's made it known like he doesn't like the he doesn't want to stay in the Celtics just because like the fans
I
and
agree. I agree. I don't think Jalen Brown wants to be in Boston. I completely agree.
and another player that I feel like teams just need to let go is like Aiden from the Suns. He don't
Agreed.
want to be there at the time anymore. So I feel like when players don't want to be there no more,
Now, do you think
trade.
do you think
Go
as
ahead.
far as DeAndre Ayton, do you think them getting rid of Monty Williams and then moving on to a new head coach? I think they picked up Frank Vogel, which now if you remember, DeAndre Ayton when he was a free agent last time, he signed an offer sheet to the Indiana Pacers, which Frank Vogel was a former coach at. So do you think
Mm-hmm.
them bringing in Frank Vogel to Phoenix, does that do enough to make DeAndre Ayton want to stay, or does them adding Bradley Beal and the possibility of bringing in Rajon Rondo, does that just push him further down the pedestal where he's like, okay, clearly you guys don't believe in me. I'm done with Phoenix as a whole.
Well, I honestly feel like them bringing a new coach that would help him because I know he would get into it with the coach a lot
Right.
with Monty. But and then also with CP3 gone, I know him and CP3 got into it a couple times. So I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it does kind of help him more if they do decide to keep him. Um, he might try to like ride it out in a way to
Right.
see what
Right.
new experience comes.
Yeah,
But
because like they say, winning solves a lot of problems. So if
yeah,
they're winning, he's probably less likely to complain.
100%. But yeah, that's what my thing is like when players want to go, and I just feel like the organization keeps them there just like out of spite or like they're not gonna play 100%. I don't want to go somewhere. I mean, be somewhere and I not feeling welcome or being wanted or you know I'm not gonna give you my 110. I'll give you about maybe 90 if anything.
Right, right. Like you're going to go out there, you're going to fulfill your obligations, you're going to do what you have to do, but you're
You're not
not
putting it over.
right. That last 10%, that 100%, that 110%, you're just not going to be able to like dig for it because that's not what you're shooting for. You're just meeting obligations.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Super dark horse, right? Super dark horse for Damian Lillard. The Denver Nuggets. We have the ability to make a trade for Damian Lillard. So let me just put our
Who
name
you
in
gonna
it.
trade?
Let me just put our name in a hat. All right. Let me just put our name in a hat, and you tell me what you
Mm-hmm.
think about this trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So obviously, you have to give up a max contract to get a player like Damian Lillard. There's no way you bring in that type of salary without sending that type of salary out.
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Jokic is untouchable. Jamal Murray is untouchable. Aaron Gordon is probably the biggest glue piece to that team. So you don't want to get rid of him. Who does that leave? Michael Porter Jr., who is on a max deal. You throw in Michael Porter Jr., and then you also throw in Kentavious Caldwell Pope because if you bring in Damian Lillard and you refuse to trade Jamal Murray, then Damian Lillard and Jamal Murray now play those guard spots together, which would immediately become the best guards in the NBA. I don't care what else you're saying. There's no way even a tandem like Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson is touching what Damian Lillard and Jamal Murray could accomplish. And then on top of that, we also have draft picks that you could throw in there. We have rookies. We have three rookies, all three of which are projected to be able to make an impact right now if asked to, that you could throw into there. So we have an abundance of young players, draft picks, and then you have KCP, Michael Porter Jr. at the top of that trade. Could that be enough to get Damian Lillard in Denver to help Denver want to repeat for a championship?
Say yes and no. Because if I'm Portland, I'm definitely taking Michael Porter Jr.
You feel me?
But I also want Aaron Gordon.
There's no way. There's no way Aaron Gordon gets included in any package. That's giving up too much. I don't like that, and that's the thing. That's the thing with a lot of teams. I think right now is like, as much as so many teams would want to add Damian Lillard to their roster, teams just aren't desperate to do so. They know that Damian Lillard doesn't want to be there. They know that Portland wants to move on. You can't really pressure a team like Boston into giving up Jaylen Brown if they don't want to. You can't pressure Denver to give up a player like Aaron Gordon if they don't want to. Right now, it looks like you can't even really pressure the Miami Heat if all they can offer you is Tyler Hero. So
So I did read. Sorry, I'm gonna open my chips real quick. Thank you. Um, I did read he was interested in San Antonio Spurs. Now, the Spurs had all those first round picks and, they got a lot of rookies and whatnot. They don't have a lot of they don't have nobody that's ranked up there with him as like, skill wise and pay wise. But if Portland's looking to rebuild, they might consider all the Spurs draft picks they did pick. Besides, number one. But and he's already said that he respects Pop. He loves the Spurs organization. I know he wants to go in and win a championship right away, but there's still potential there that he can do that. Might not be this year, but possible next year. What do you think?
the problem I have with the Spurs is, if you're giving up draft picks to get Damian Lillard, right? What's the difference between the Spurs situation and the Trailblazers current situation? They're both rebuilding teams. The only difference is the Portland Trailblazers has a player like Jeremy Grant, who is a
Well,
phenomenal basketball player.
and see, that's the thing. If the Spurs do decide to, offer him something, they would need to get another vet on the team. Not someone like super big, but another vet that would be able to help him. I don't know who else is in the. Let me look up real quick.
The best free agent still available right now is, as far as free agency goes, is you have players like Christian Wood, PJ Washington, Grant Williams is still out there in free agency, Kelly Oubre Jr. You do have big men outside of those, like top 3, 4, 5 free agencies, like Willie Herman Gomez and Darius Bailey, Mo Bamba. Bo just got waived, so he's a free agent as of today, I believe. You have guards like Ao Donsumu and Diallo, who played for the Oklahoma City Thunder from Kentucky. So there's some free agents out there, but there's not really any, like, not, even players like Christian Wood, PJ Washington. Like, do they add that much to a team if you sign them? I think they add a lot to a contender, but outside of those contending teams, do they really make a difference? Do they really like push the needle forward?
Not really.
And that's going to be the
I,
biggest thing. If the Spurs bring in Damian Lillard, you immediately have to turn around and now have to say, okay, what's our next big move? Because you got to make a big
mm-hmm.
move after that.
That is also true.
So
Yeah.
so I just feel like now for Portland, if the Spurs are going to give you first round picks for Damian Lillard, I guess you take it. But from the Damian Lillard standpoint of things, you kind of walked yourself
Mm-hmm.
into a corner if you end up in San Antonio because now you're just in the same situation with a different franchise,
Mm-hmm.
which would be,
That's
in
true.
my opinion, very unfortunate for him because you'd love to see him end up on a team like Miami or Boston or even a team that I heard is
Which is the Nets.
yeah, the Nets was a team that I heard, and I think a team like the Nets would really benefit from having a player like Damian Lillard. I think like Damian Lillard being a primetime player, Brooklyn Nets really looking for that franchise player that can really hold that. Now I obviously know they had players
Yep.
like James Harden, Kevin Durant, but like those guys are like, in my opinion, like superstar journeymen. They're superstars, but they move around enough where it's like you don't really look at them as a franchise guy at this point in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
But if he goes to the Nets, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
If he goes to the Nets, who are they trying to trade?
The Nets, like in any trade, it would have to start and end with Ben Simmons. If Damian Lillard goes to the Nets, they would have to be willing to take on that Ben Simmons salary. Now, what they do with that is completely up to them. Maybe they facilitate a buyout with Ben Simmons. Maybe if they decide Ben Simmons isn't going to be able to play for whatever reason he has for this season, he has 1,500 excuses per season. So, whatever reason he'll have for not getting on the court this year, maybe the Portland Trailblazers find a way to make a trade and then get a disabled players compensation. So maybe that could help them financially. But
First
if
of all, there is no Ben Simmons slander here.
I'm just saying, I'm just
There is
saying, I'm just saying, Ben Simmons just doesn't play basketball. He like
next this year is gonna be his year. He's gonna be playing. He's in the gym. I just got off the phone with him.
he's in the gym every summer. Every summer we see him in the gym. Every summer we see him hitting 3 pointers. Every summer we see him snapping in the Drew League, in the XYZ League, this and that third and the third league. And then when the season starts, he's nowhere to be found. This has happened
Like he
for
needs to come.
he needs what?
He needs to come down to the Western Conference Finals. I mean Western Conference because I feel like the Eastern Conference teams don't appreciate him. Just come down. He's from Australia. He can come to all the Australian players that I know. They usually play in the Western Conference. So yeah,
What
he
do
needs
you
to
want him
find
to
a
do?
way.
Play with Dante Exum? Where Dante Exum just go? He signed somewhere. Let me see. Where's he at on here?
He needs to just find a team that's gonna appreciate him for who he is.
Oh, look at this. Oh, so what do you want him to go? You want him to go to Dallas? Because that's where Dante Exum went. He needs to play with another Australian mate. He needs to play with someone else from down under.
Yes, he needs to. Well, shoot, I can't even say that because he was playing with Patty Mills for a minute, and Patty Mills is from Australia. I think they played on the what was it, the Sixers together in the Nets. Now that I think about it,
I was gonna say I thought it was the Nets. I was gonna say, did Patty Mills play for the 76ers? I remember him on the Nets. I knew Pat.
I thought he did because
He probably did.
him and Danny Green.
Patty Mills moved around a lot.
Yeah, shout out to Patty Mills, my favorite Australian player.
What is that? That's any type of stat you just gave up. Your favorite Australian player? What is Australia? Is Australia your favorite influx of talent to the NBA?
No, no, I'm just saying. When he played for the Spurs, um, he what call it? There was some commercials that used to go around for HEB. I don't know if you know what HEB is, but his accent. I love a good accent, and that man's accent is so funny. Well, not funny, but charming, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, shout out to that Patty Mills.
Shout out to that man, Patty
I just,
Mills.
I just feel like I said, Ben Simmons just needs to go somewhere where he's appreciated and they're willing to work with him. He has, he can
Work
hoop. He can
every
play defense.
every team has worked with Ben Simmons. The Philadelphia
I feel
76ers
like
have worked with Ben Simmons. The Brooklyn Nets have worked with Ben Simmons. When will Ben Simmons work with an NBA team? You are getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play basketball.
that's true.
Play
But
basketball.
okay, that's like the whole Kawhi Leonard situation and why he left Spurs. Like they weren't believing in him. So why play for a team? This goes back
That's
to my whole situation where why play for a team? What do you
wrong.
mean earn? What?
Wrong. First of all,
What?
First of all, whether he was healed or not, Kawhi Leonard was dealing with injuries. Ben Simmons is dealing with quote unquote
Mental
mental
healthness.
mental illnesses. And I'm not saying that it's not a real thing, but let's look at players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has been very open about his mental health issues. Kevin Love, another player who has been very open with their mental health issues. Neither of them are getting DNPs for it. Both of those players are actively out there on the court and are actively dealing with mental health issues. Now, I will say, I understand it affects every individual different. Every individual needs to be treated as an individual when dealing with so. But you have to decide if your mental health is at a point where where it's keeping you from stepping onto the court, then you have to step away from the game of basketball. You look at a player like what's his name? Royce White. Royce White that played for Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Because of his anxiety and his inability to travel, he wasn't able to play in the league. Now he was a phenomenal talent. He was a great player, but his mental health was more important than his basketball career, which is completely fine, which should always be the case. But if your mental health is that serious right now where you cannot play basketball, then tell everybody that you cannot play basketball. Stop acting like you're going to come out season after season and you're going to sit here and return to form. When the case is you're not even going to lace your shoes.
I feel you. I honestly feel you. I get what you're coming from. I just feel like one, like you're right. Everybody is different in their own mental health situations. I just feel like maybe he got traumatized because them 76ers fans are no joke. Okay.
That's true
That's
too.
why again
That's
I
true
say
too.
again why he needs to come down to the West Coast because we're a little bit more friendlier than the East Coast. Okay, so he could have been, traumatized by the fans. He could have been traumatized by the staff, the coaching, the other players on the team. Because Joel Embiid probably told him a couple things like, "You light skinned pussy" and all kinds of other stuff. So you don't know what happened to him and why he started playing like that. Like again, I get frustrated too because when he does go out there, I'm like, come on, Ben Simmons, like, there's no way you missing this like underneath the basket shot here. Like, what's going on? But yeah, I still hope that man come back to redeem himself. prove everybody wrong.
I hope he does too.
Hopefully so.
I've always said this, and I feel like one of the reasons I'm so critical on Ben Simmons is because he's now made me look like a fool. Because so often I keep saying, well, if Ben Simmons comes back, he completely turns the team around. He's one of the best defenders in the league. He's one of the most versatile defenders in the league. He's one of the best passers in the league. He's a tall player that could play 1 through 4. So, like you could move him around depending on what kind of lineup you want to have. So if you have a player like Ben Simmons, you have the ultimate trump card. You have the ultimate piece that any type of coach, any type of franchise, any type of fan base looks for in a player. The problem is he just doesn't play. And he doesn't seem interested in playing.
This might be. If nobody decides to pick him up or trade with him, trade with the Nets for him, this might be his last year. He might have to downgrade to the G League or something. I don't know.
Even then, if he downgrades to the G League and he somehow starts playing, his career is over. There's no way you go to the G League and you start playing and teams believe in you. How long has it been since we've seen Ben Simmons play consistently?
Yeah, I was about to say he was in a couple of games last season, but it wasn't like, oh, he's coming in every time. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I made a couple bets on him. And I got a DNP. I said, what in the world?
And that's my biggest problem is like you just can't be that high profile player. You can't like be that type of guy and just not play. It's ridiculous. It's inexcusable. Again, you get
I
paid.
seen somebody put in the chat. I seen somebody put in the chat about Dylan Brooks.
I
He's gonna go to China.
what there was no world where I thought Dylan Brooks would be making $20 million a year, but he did it.
The Rockets believe in him.
The Houston Rockets between who else did they sign? The Rockets they signed him, Fred VanVleet. They
Devin
signed
Fleet. They got a good little roster coming up.
they signed they got Jeff Green from Denver, so another player gone from the Denver Nuggets. Jeff Green signed a 1 year deal with them, which I'm not sure if he'll play a lot, but that's a great veteran. They also get Jake Landell from the Phoenix Suns, which if you remember, played some very exceptional defense on Nikola Jokic throughout the playoffs during that series.
Mm-hmm.
So our Jock Landale, I believe his name is, but
And
some
they signed that one of the twins from the draft. I forget which one that is that came to him.
oh yep, yeah,
Yep.
I
So
definitely did.
I feel like they got a pretty. It's gonna be interesting to me on how that team runs, just because I want to see how Dylan Brooks does this year. If he's still gonna be the same Dylan Brooks from the Grizzlies, or if he's doing like a new personality that's coming with the new team. I want to see, and then I want to see how he's gonna play with Fran VanVleet. Just
So,
because I feel like
give me your over under right now for Dylan Brooks. Over under 14 points next year for the Houston Rockets.
that is a good question. I didn't even think about that because it's funny that you said that because when he played for the Grizzlies, me and my boyfriend we have like an inside joke about it, and we call him an underman because we play underman. Yeah, that's him because he does not score more than 14 points. But but it was surprising because towards the end when Jaw was out and who else? Somebody else got hurt. Um, who
Steven
was it?
Adams.
No, Steven Adams was gone for pretty much the whole season. But I want to say it was when Brandon Clark
Uh,
got hurt. Um, or basically he was having to pull in. He was like, you know, making points for the team. I was like, what? This man can score? So I know he can score. Now, if he's working out this summer, focusing on his shooting, I can see him being a scorer. But then again, like I said, Fred VanVleet's on that team, and that man's a ball hog. I will say that. That man is.
I wouldn't call him a ball hog. He's a bucket. He's a certified bucket getter. I wouldn't call Fred VanVleet a ball hog. He's the type of dude. He can go out there. He can dish out some assists. He's definitely able to share the
Some
wealth.
assists. Boy, he be having like 1 or 2 assists.
No, Fred VanVleet could go out there and share the wealth, but his primary prerogative when he gets on that court is to score the ball. Now maybe that changes with the Houston Rockets because, like I said, they bring in these other players like Jock Landale, Jeff Green. They get the twin in the NBA draft. They do things. They position themselves in a place where there's a lot of different ways that they could go. You think of the player that Jalen Green could be next year. Jalen Green could possibly be a 20-point scorer next year if you utilize him, Dylan Brooks, and Fred VanVleet the right way, which is you allow Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green to get out on the wing, get on the cuts, get on these back screens, and you allow Fred VanVleet to be the offensive monster that he is. This could be a very dangerous tandem in the NBA next year.
And I believe it because I honestly think Dylan Brooks is definitely coming next season as his villain arc. He's on his. I'm proving my point. I am who I am.
Whether he
So I
does or
honestly think,
doesn't, he absolutely is.
yeah,
He absolutely is.
yeah. So I think he is going to, I would say over. I'm going to say over.
Over 14?
Because I do, yeah, I do see him. He's probably going to start taking more shots because, like I said, a lot of people were like, well, what does Dylan Brooks bring? He's not a good offensive scorer, da 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 da. His defense is okay. I've seen so many things about him. One thing about him, he does play good D. I will say that. He plays good defense. Not always. Not always, but
But
for
he
a good
always
amount
plays
of games, I
aggressive
do think.
defense. He always plays aggressive
Mm-hmm.
defense, and the NBA that sometimes that could be hard to find. You're more likely to find someone to give up on defense than you are to see them play aggressive every play.
So yeah, that's why I'm saying it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of like personality he's gonna take on. If he's gonna be the same dog that he was in the Grizzlies when he played with the Grizzlies, or is he's gonna like take it or step it back a couple of notches. Like I want to see how he transition from the Grizzlies to the Rockets. That's not a bad lineup. I think they're gonna be a team to watch for sure. The Kings is also gonna be a team to watch because now that they have playoff experience, like they know and adjust. If they don't really change a lot of people out of that lineup, I think they'll be good. I think they're gonna be ready.
Yeah, I think
And I see
The Kings are
too.
definitely going to be good. They bring Alex Len and Trey Lyles back. They re-signed Demonte Sabonis. Um, that tandem of Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox is just Kentucky 101. Like if you've ever watched Kentucky basketball, they just pretty much took that and they ran with it in the NBA. Like if you would call, I've seen a lot of people calling the New York Knicks the Villanova Knicks right now because they're bringing in a lot of Villanova players. The Sacramento Kings are basically the Sacramento Wildcats or the Kentucky Kings because that's pretty much what they're doing right now is they're just bringing in a bunch of guys from Kentucky and running Kentucky Wildcat basketball, which has proven to be effective. If John Calipari ever decided to go to the NBA, he'd probably immediately become a top 5 coach currently
Yeah, I see that.
because the Kings
What was
absolutely will be dangerous next year.
so? Let me ask you about this. So, if Zion gets his stuff together and decides he wants to, bless us with his presence on the court next year, how do you feel about the Pelicans? Do you think they'll still be top 4 in the West, or
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I actually have my top five teams for the Western Conference next year. You want to know what my
Yep.
top five teams for the Western Conference are next year?
Nuggets, chicken nuggets.
Absolutely. At that number one spot, there's no way I'm going with any other team other than the defending. They have the best player in basketball, Nikola Jokic. They have arguably the best complementary piece in Jamal Murray because the thing that makes Jamal Murray such a great complementary piece is the fact that even though he can go for 40 points and he can go for 10 assists, he's perfectly fine with having a 16 6-6 game. And that's the great thing about him is regardless of what he's capable of doing, he's going to do what he has to do. Best complimentary player in the NBA. So, Denver Nuggets number one in the West. My number two team in the West, just instantly off of star power and assuming that they'll probably sign Rajon Rondo. The Phoenix
Mhm.
Suns. Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Just saying those names, that's a tough tandem to beat. It's going to be a tough tandem to beat. I'm not sure where they'll finish in the regular season, but I know come playoff time they're going to be a tough team to beat. My number three team, and this may be purely off of free agency, but my number three team is the Los Angeles Lakers. They have had a phenomenal free agency. They re-signed Roy Hachimura and Austin Reeves. They re-signed Austin Reeves for an extremely team-friendly deal. Um, they bring in guys like Jackson Hayes, Tareen Prince. Well, who else did they sign? They signed Cameron Reddish, Gabe Vincent. So they
Yep.
bring
Oh my gosh, I
yeah
can't believe they got Game Vincent.
they bring in a lot of pieces. You look at Jackson Hayes. That's a new piece at the center position. You look at Gabe Vincent. That's a new piece at the point guard position. You look at Tareen Prince. That's a new option out there on the wing. And the biggest thing is that you re-sign your main guys. You bring back Roy Hachimura. You bring back D'Angelo Russell. You bring back AR-15 Austin Reeves. So the Lakers, locked and reloaded. I think they're probably the third best team in the West. And then my fourth best team I have as the Dallas Mavericks. They they bring back Kyrie Irving. They were able to sign. They were able to
Steph
sign.
Curry.
Yeah, they were able to sign Seth Curry and Dwight Powell. Two great pickups. I'm pretty sure Dwight Powell was a re-sign, but great pickups. And Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic. That's a lot of offensive firepower. I know Seth Curry isn't Stephen Curry. He's still a tremendous shooter, and he's still a great off the dribble shooter. So not only can he catch and shoot, but he's able to create his own shot. So having three guys that can create your own shot at a high level is extremely valuable in the NBA, and because of that, I think they'll be a top team in the West. And then my number five spot, I actually have it as a tie. I think it'll either be I think it'll either be the Minnesota Timberwolves or it'll be the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the only reason I have the Memphis Grizzlies up there is because I think if they commit to defense and they decide no team is going to score on us, we're going to play 80s basketball, then they could become tremendously dangerous and they could like you think about Derrick Rose being there, and when John Morant comes back, you think about those kind of guards in a in a defensive setting where you're getting turnovers and you're getting transition buckets, it could there could be a lot of blowouts under 100 points in the NBA, courtesy of the Memphis Grizzlies. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, simply because you have Rudy Gay, you have Karl Anthony Towns, you have Anthony Edwards, you have Mike Conley. You just you have the effect where you have all these great players that have all played together for a couple of seasons. So not only are you that talented, but now you have that level of synergy. So it's just I don't really.
So, mm, I'm not mad at your top five, but
Sound like you disagree.
yeah, I'm gonna say Nuggets. I see Nuggets being top five just because they're coming back from a championship. Yes, they lost a couple of good players, but I still feel like they still have the core of their team.
Absolutely.
So they should be able to just adjust and move forward. Um, this is where my problem comes in. So the Suns, I do feel they have scoring, and I do feel like they have defense, but do they have a bench?
Now that's a great point. That's a great point. And the Suns are going to be relying on a lot of that was my which is like a wing, small forward, power forward type player. Eric Gordon, Damian Lee, Josh Okogie, Utah Watanabe. So like they've brought in some serviceable players to bring off of that bench, and if you sign Rajon Rondo, that only strengthens the bench because now you don't have to force one of those players into a guard spot. Now you have a legit point guard,
Mm-hmm.
and those reserve players can stay reserve players. So I was completely on board with you when I said what do they do as far as the bench, but Phoenix has been very, very good at answering the bell when it comes to what kind of bench players can you sign. And they've signed some good guys.
It's just because I know with KD, and I've seen this on a couple of teams. With KD's and they rely on KD. Now y'all got Devin Booker, of course. He's also a scorer, and now y'all just got Bradley Beal. That's gonna. But at the same time, I feel like when you have like superstars or all stars like KD on your team and stuff, I feel like players slowly rely on them. So when they do get hurt, it's just like, oh shit, what are we doing now? Type things, or who's gonna step up? And I feel like Devin Booker should be able to do that. If KD does get injured, I'm praying nobody gets injured this season, but he is prone to injuries and stuff. So if he does get injured, is Bradley Beal and Devin Booker going to be enough? Or is that going to be like another CP3 and Devin Booker situation? You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yeah, and it absolutely won't be enough. God forbid, knock on wood, as long as
Mm-hmm.
God willing, KD is able to have a healthy season, hopefully. But if he is to get injured, then everything gets flushed out. Everything gets flushed away. Because not only did you not rely on DeAndre Ayton, now you have to turn around and rely on him more. And I hate to turn this into like a relationship terminology, but the worst thing you can do is disregard your woman, put your woman on the back burner, and then need something from her because you're going to hear about it, and it is going to be an extremely tedious and painful experience that you're about to have if you put your girl on the back burner and then turn around and the next thing you need is something from her. So, God forbid Phoenix puts DeAndre Ayton on the back burner and then has to turn around and expect more from him. That's going to be the worst thing to ever happen to Phoenix. And it is going to make it's probably going to make the entire team implode if that would happen.
Yeah. So my boyfriend just texted me, and sent me a screenshot. Sources say the Dallas Mavs, San Antonio Spurs, and Boston Celtics are finalizing a 3-team trade. The Mavs will get Nat Williams. Oh, sorry, I call him Nat Williams, but Grant Williams. And the Spurs will get Reggie Bullock and an unprotected Dallas pick swap in 2030. I hate when they do those like long years. Like, and then the Celtics will get multiple second round picks. So I'm assuming it doesn't say if it's going to be like in 2030. It
So
says multiple second round picks.
so basically it's a Grant Williams sign and trade?
Yeah, Grant Williams will go to the Mavs, and then Spurs will get Reggie Bullock.
See? Well, I'm glad you broke that news. I'm glad I put Mavs in my top 5 because now Grant Williams is headed to the Mavericks, and that's another great piece to add there.
See, and then what we'll see. Well, our problem is with the Dallas that you put up there. But Grant might actually help this a little.
See? Shout out to your mans for breaking the news.
Wait. Because he ain't gonna be just y'all answer. Y'all gonna have to find somebody else because I feel like Reggie Bullock, low key, leaving y'all might kind of hurt that situation too, though.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
Y'all have.
What is this, y'all? Y'all, what is this, y'all? Let me correct that right now. Stop. Yeah, watch that. Yeah, that's a great question, but I mean the same thing could be said about Boston right now. The Boston Celtics are one of the favorites out of the East, and where's their defense coming from?
They ain't got no
Because
defense. Yeah, and now that we lost Grant,
I was just about to
we lost
say.
Marcus Smart. So I mean, I feel the same thing with the Celtics. I'm mad about that. That's why I'm upset because of that Marcus Smart trade. Because now we just lost one of our key defensive players. Who do we have to play defense? Jason Tatum, another, love him to death. He don't play that great of defense.
See now
Jaylen Brown.
here's the biggest difference though between the Mavericks and the Celtics. Neither teams play defense, but the Mavericks now have more offensive firepower. If you ask me what's a better offensive tandem, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic or Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I'm taking Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. That's arguably one of the most skilled duos in the NBA today. So
my boyfriend just texted me. He was like, Celtics just said fuck defense, huh?
Yo, see, I said that earlier. The Celtics, they've moved away. They've moved away from being defensive and gritty, and they've decided to commit to being an offensive team, which is the only reason why I could see a Jaylen Brown, Damian Lillard trade, because the Celtics have seemed to commit to offense. Like I'm not sure. I'm not sure why the decision was made. I'm not sure about the thought process. I'm not sure about the understanding of it. But at some point, Boston decided, no, we don't want to be this this defensive first gritty team. We want to focus on getting
I feel like
buckets.
offense can only take you so far.
I
I
agree.
feel like offense can only take you so far though, because what if one of these players, again, God forbid, I don't want no injuries this season, one of them get hurt. That's down one of your offensive scoring. Kyrie get hurt. Now we gotta just focus on Luka. We're gonna be losing half the points that Kyrie been scoring. So now we gotta stop the other team from scoring more. Who's gonna pick it up?
Right.
That's what I liked about the Grizzlies, because I felt like with John Morant, when John Morant was out, that team just shifted. They picked up the slack. So it wasn't like they had a good bench. Um Roddy came off the bench. Ty Jones came off the bench, and I hate that they left. They traded him. I hate that, but he's probably gonna do good with the Wizards with Jordan Poole. I didn't even touch on that trade, but
Yeah, absolutely.
um,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I just feel like the Grizzlies are like, as bench wise. That's what I've been talking about. You have a solid bench. They had solid players come off the bench that could pick up that slack if one of the star players were out. They didn't. It's not like, oh shit, what we gonna do type thing. Like they knew what they had a backup plan. But Dallas, like I said, Dallas could be potentially five. Um, the Lakers, I'm not going. Lakers definitely could be up there too. I'm not gonna argue on that, because re-signing Austin Reeves, re-signing Hirachi Moro, or whatever his name is.
Mhm.
As long as AD does what he need to do, if he plays like how he was playing in the playoffs, they should be good. If
Absolutely.
I just feel like that team, since they're re-signing a lot of people, then they're adding more people, that should take some of the weight off of LeBron. Now,
Right.
will that happen? We don't know, but
In a
it
perfect
should.
world, right, it should. And that'll come to see, but I think the key for LeBron is LeBron should want to play less than 32 minutes a game this year. I know that's very unrealistic, but LeBron should aim for under 32 minutes. If he could play 30 to 31 minutes, that would be most ideal. Now, I doubt he'll ever want to sit here and play fucking 28, 29 minutes. That's probably unrealistic to ask for, but 30 to 31 minutes, asking for 12 minutes without LeBron James is not too much to ask for, I feel like. Or what would it be? 18 minutes? Yeah. Asking for 18 minutes without LeBron James, I don't think is that much to ask for. So, the Lakers have to
If LeBron
figure
wants
that out.
Yeah, if LeBron wants to continue to be playing until Bronny gets into the NBA, he's definitely gonna have to cut his time. He's definitely gonna have to cut the carrying the whole team on my back. That's why the Lakers need to go ahead. The people they re-signed, I feel like it's good because they did what they needed to do during the playoffs. So the people that they did re-sign, yes. Like now I know they got rid of Patch. Patch got traded to, when I say Patch, I mean what's his name?
Pat Beverly?
No. Pat, not Pat Beverly. He had the little blonde patch on his head. Oh, what's his real name?
Oh, Dennis Schroeder.
Oh, there you go. See, I forget because I'm not
Where
talking
yeah,
to the
where'd he
person.
go
I
like
got names
I think.
for everybody, but he went to the Raptors.
Oh yeah, yep.
So, um, they got rid of him. I think they re-signed D'Angelo Russell. I'm not
Yep.
sure.
Re-signed him to a
Um,
2 year, second year I believe is a player option.
yeah. So I mean, the Lakers again, they have potential if everybody plays right, everybody does what they have to do, and not have to rely on LeBron. Um, I honestly feel though I would put the Nuggets, the Kings, And this is not in any order because I'm not gonna say Nuggets are number one. I'm just gonna say just
You
top
you
five.
know the Nuggets are number one. You know that.
I don't know. I don't know because, like I said, there's a lot of good trades going on here for the West, and so I feel like there might be a new team to take over.
Okay.
But yeah, so Nuggets, Kings. I'm putting I'm putting out as much as I hate to go for LeBron, LeBron this, LeBron that. I'm gonna say the Lakers. Might be a top five. Um, and then I'm gonna have to go with the Grizzlies because I'm assuming everybody's coming back. Is everybody's coming back healthy? They're gonna have Marcus Smart. Of course, Jaw's gonna be out first 25 games, but Marcus Smart, um, Desmond Bain, Brandon Clark, Jared Jackson, Steven Adams comes back. They still have a good bench. Roddy, what's that other good boy's name? I can't think of his name. But they have a good solid team. Again, if John Morant comes back and do what he needs to do and stay out of trouble, they they might be something. And then who was that? That's four?
Yeah.
Memphis. And then my fifth one will be a tie between Dallas. If Zion comes back and he's good to go, I would say the Pelicans because
You have the
and Brandon Ingram.
Pelicans. I understand it. I understand they still have C.J. McCollum, right? Pretty
Yeah, they
sure.
have CJ
Yeah.
McCollum,
They
Brandon Ingram.
I understand all that, but like what did they really do as far outside of like signing Herb
No,
Williams? Yeah.
okay. First of all,
Yeah, I mean
they
Herb Jones and Cody Zeller. That's all they really did so far this offseason.
off season, yes, but they always okay. Before Zion Williams did get hurt, they actually were, if I'm not mistaken, they were in number 4 seed or
Yeah,
they were up there
they were a top
because
seed. They were a top seed.
now, like I said, if everybody comes back, because they haven't done much changes, and if everybody comes back healthy, they could be a good contender because that trio, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williams, and then they also have good defense. What's that guy's name? The one that goes like he stands in the corner and he steals the ball when he try to pass it in. You know what I'm talking about?
Murph?
Alvarado. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. The Spanish
Yeah.
football.
I, yeah. So I mean, they have good defense too. So I feel like they're an overall good team. But with that being said, a lot of teams in the West are going to be being surprised because like if the Rockets take off to be a good team. Oh, and you can't even forget. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot it. OKC. OKC
That's
can really.
crazy. When you said I can't believe I forgot, OKC was not the team I thought you were about to mention because I have two teams. I have two teams I want to ask you about real quick.
Okay.
So, so you put Pelicans as a team that you could have in your top five, right? In the Western Conference.
It's a possible maybe
It's
push it to
a
six.
right. It's a possibility, but now this is the thing. There's
Yeah.
two specific teams that one team that I had in my top five that I actually had ranked number two, which is the Phoenix Suns. Let me just ask you right here and now. You think the New Orleans Pelicans with CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson is better than the Phoenix Suns with Bradley Bill, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Ayton?
Mm.
You'd rather take that Pelicans team over that Suns team? Because the Suns were nowhere to be found in your top five.
The Suns. I
And
didn't
and
say the
and
Suns.
and that was the first team you harped on for me.
Yeah. So.
Thoughts on Pink Tape? I
So
love
this
it.
is.
Pink Pink Tape is the best tape.
Say about the Suns. Okay, so back to my issue with the Suns is the bench. That's what it comes down to. I honestly feel like it comes down to the bench because you're telling me this whole team? Yes, they got players like Damian Lee and everything like that, but are they going to be able to perform once it's time for them to come out, or are these star players going to be playing like the whole
And
game
and
to be
that's a
able to
great
have a
question,
5-2?
and that's a great question. But you're telling me that you believe in the Pelicans more than you believe in the Suns?
I don't even. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna say no. So I'm gonna push Pelicans back down. They'll probably make the playoffs, but I'm just gonna push them back down because I'm still not putting Suns in my top five though.
Well, they go in your top five at that point.
No, because
You
then I
had
give the top five. I give five to who would I say?
you said
Uh,
Nuggets, Kings, Lakers,
Lakers, Grizzlies.
Grizzlies, and Suns.
So it's gonna
Suns.
be. So it's gonna be the fifth place will go either to Dallas, uh, Suns, or OKC.
Okay. All right. And now this is a
Because
team that
I am putting OKC. I am putting OKC up there because I do feel like
no,
they're
I agree. I agree.
growing.
OKC is definitely going to be a very good team next year. Now, what they decide to do is left to be seen. But that actually brings me to the third Nuggets player that left in free agency, Jack White, who has signed a 2-year deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He goes there with Patty Mills, who goes there via trade. Victor Oladipo via
Oh yeah,
trade.
they got
Um,
Patty Mills now.
so OKC has definitely added some good pieces. Victor Oladipo has already played for the Thunder, so it's a franchise that he's familiar with.
Hmm.
As long as he can come back healthy, he's still a very, very, very good two-way player. So that's a tremendous pickup as long as he could be healthy. But this is a team that neither of us put in our top five. So when I ask you this question, I'm only asking to play devil's advocate because I didn't put them in my top five either. And for my top five, I had 6 teams because my five spot I was split between the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. But a team that neither of us mentioned are the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have Stephen Curry. They have they just re-signed Draymond Green. They have Chris Paul. They have Jonathan Kaminga. They have all these pieces. Why are they not in our top five? Why are they not in your top five?
I'm gonna be real. Golden State is some assholes. I don't fuck with Klay Thompson at all. So I'm just a little biased. Nah, but to be real, I just feel like their era is
You think
a
the
little
window
done
closed? You
in
think
a way.
the window has closed for this Golden State team as structured?
Yeah, because I mean, we got new faces in the NBA. The West is really it's really getting tough in the West. Everybody
It
wants to be in the
is.
West. Now, if I always say this every season. I just feel like we should just do away with like the East and the West, just because, or reorganize like
You think it should
how
be?
we
You think the
East,
playoffs?
because I feel like I think the playoffs should be changed, like how they do the standings
Yeah.
between the East and the West. I know everybody wants like the Eastern Conference is finals or whatever champions, but it's a little stacked. Like the West is a problem.
They,
East, uh, Florida's East, Miami's in the
yeah.
East. So yeah,
So previously, the only Western Conference teams that have ever won NBA championships either came from California or Texas.
and you
So,
see, this is another thing I brought up to my
all
girlfriend
right,
because I was just like
yeah, Texas.
I was joking around. I was like, yo, why does Texas have 3 teams? California got like 4 or 5 teams. I swear they do, but it's really just like Warriors. But
Where'd you say? Where'd you say your boyfriend said Grant Williams was going to?
the paper. I mean the
The
Clips said he
paper.
was going. Not the paper. The tweet said he was going to the Mavs.
Said Grant Williams became the paper. Saying.
Nah, he's going to the Mavs.
All right. But nah, that's actually crazy. Let me see. I should be able to get on Twitter if I'm not like signed into my account, right?
You should. I think. Don't quote me.
You never know what Elon Musk do to this shit.
Man, what? That man there. He
Oh,
is pro.
it actually just let me sign in. I forgot I had it. Forgot when your email just connects. It connects.
He said that you could only read like up to 600 tweets per day.
Yeah, I got limited. I
300.
got limited the other day. That shit pissed me off. I was like, what the hell? I couldn't do nothing on Twitter. And then Elon Musk gonna share some shit talking about imagine you get like Brandon Miller.
Oh my gosh! Wait, is the Hornets in the East? I forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yep.
I just had to double check.
This
I can't
man,
count on my boy Lamelo.
this man in the first half. Now, first of all, in the first game, he had 7 fouls. In the first half of his second, I believe this is his second summer league game. He has 0 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, and 6 fouls.
I heard about that. I heard about that. And what I'm gonna say on that is they're just I'm hoping and praying it's just nerves because I was watching
Sheesh.
a clip of the first draft pick and he was just like doing some shoot around. Homeboy cannot make a bucket. So I'm really just saying it had to be nerves. It has to be nerves. Like they're just it's you're moving. It's like you're used to playing like the elite um or the whatever the little leagues they used to play in or college. When this season starts, they should be able to already be where they need to be. You know?
Right. All right. So did you hear about the official news for the new NBA in season tournament?
No.
All right. So apparently it's a final four. So I guess at the time of December 7th, because it'll be set December 7th and 9th in Las Vegas. I guess that the top four. I'm not sure how the tournament will work. I know that statistics will count for the league's regular season, except for the championship game of the event. So the final four, uh, the semifinal games will count towards the regular season numbers as far as record and statistics, but the championship game will not. So I guess both the semifinal games will be taking place on December 7th of this year in Las Vegas, and then the championship game will be on December 9th, if I'm reading this correctly.
for again?
Huh?
This is the playoffs.
No.
What
This
is this
is
for?
in season tournament. That will be like the mid season tournament. So I guess
Oh,
it'll
that's
be.
interesting.
I guess it'll be the. I'm assuming it'll be the top two teams from the East and the top two teams from the West at that time.
Okay, okay.
Or maybe it'll
Oh,
be the
I just
top
got
four records overall.
some breaking news from my source.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um, it says that they got a new flopping rule. If you flop, you will get a tech moving forward.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how effective that becomes, but hopefully that'll change some things. But we'll see. Wow, I Stephen A. Smith. Now this is from apparently last night, but Stephen A. Smith is saying with the addition of Chet Holmgren that the Oklahoma City Thunder should now be considered the best team in the West. I, that's got to
See,
be taken out of context.
um, but I told you, okay, it might be taken out of context, but I told you they wish call it. Yeah, see, let me go ahead and just move OKC to my five position permanently because I feel like they definitely. Who did they play in the playoffs? They played. They played the Lakers. Was it the Lakers? Were they in the playoffs? No, they didn't win the play in, right?
Who you said the Thunder?
Okay,
It,
see, yeah.
yeah, they didn't win the play-in.
And see that to me is just so dumb either. If I'm in top seven, you better keep me there. I shouldn't have to do anything. But yeah, I honestly feel like they might. I'm not saying they're gonna win it, but I think they are gonna go into the playoffs and actually probably maybe second round for sure. But they're gonna be playing the playoffs. But let's see here. Back to the what's call it the flopping rule. He just sent me the thing. He said, um, the in-game penalty in effect for all 2023 NBA Summer Leagues will be implemented in the 2023-2024. He can, I guess they can get multiple of these texts without
See
being like
that. See that's
taken out of the game.
that's interesting to me because if you're going to allow people to get multiple of those type of infractions in the game, why call it a technical foul? Because to my knowledge, you get two technical fouls, you're out of there. That's just how it is. You get two technical fouls, you're gone.
Oh,
So if
and
you're
then look. Oh, sorry. There's one last part of it. I didn't see that it got cut off. But this part is gonna make me mad because it says officials will not be required to stop live play to call a flopping violation. They can wait until the next neutral opportunity to stop the play. So you're telling me if you're telling me if I flop, you could decide to call it two plays afterwards and say, Tech, that was a flopping 2 plays ago. You don't have to stop it right then and there. No, that's crazy. That's that's crazy. I'm not liking that.
yeah, because that
I'm not.
like now that I actually understand and I actually believe they'll probably do. Only for the fact that like that's the same thing like with the when they implemented that like 3 point rule when they were like they can uh they can overlook all like 3 point plays and stuff like that to see if the foot was on the line or whether it wasn't. And sometimes it'll literally just the score will just change a couple minutes in. Like you'll be like, hey yo, like what happened? We had like a couple more points than that, but it'll just
Yeah.
change because they implemented that rule where it doesn't have to be immediately or it doesn't have to be called. they could just look at it later and change it later.
But I feel like
Yo,
that
B, what's
I
good,
understand
bro?
that. I understand that part because, of course, you could just like let the table know, hey, we're gonna review that after the play is dead. But I feel like if you're gonna, that's not a tech though. But you're just adjusting the points. But if you're gonna give me a tech and then give the other team the ball and a free throw, I feel like it needs to be stopped right there because you know I don't know, I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of it. And then the way refs be calling things these days. Hmm.
Yeah, no, they. My top one, my number one, number two.
What?
Now, hold on, I gotta word this right. All right. So, as far as the East goes, I got two teams that I could put at my number one spot. It could either be the Boston Celtics, which is actually seeming a lot less likely now. I'll probably move Boston down to my number two pick, but I think number one, I'll probably put the Milwaukee Bucks. Simply for the fact that they were able to make some huge signings as far as bringing back. They were able to bring back their guys in Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton, and then you think of the additions of guys like Malik Beasley. They signed Jay Crowder. They're planning on bringing in Robin Lopez. Those are some good additions. So I see them being number one in the East. And then I follow that up with probably the Celtics simply because of the offensive firepower that they have. Number three, I got the Philadelphia 76ers. I think them having James Harden, Joel Embiid, them being any lower than top three is ridiculous. Miami Heat, obviously, them losing Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. Those are some huge hits, but I expect them to be able to pull something off, and I think they'll still be a top five team. And then number five, I have the New York Knicks. They didn't do much in free agency, but they kept the team that they had. They signed Dante DiVincenzo. I don't really think he's a needle mover, but I think he's enough to keep New York competitive. So New York
Mm-hmm.
rounds out that top five for me. Now the problem I have with the Eastern Conference is that I don't really see a lot of contenders. I see the Bucks, the Celtics, the 76ers, and then I see the rest of the Eastern Conference. That's just what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very interesting. Oh, and the FYI, Pat Bev did sign with the Sixers. I don't know if you said that. I might have missed it, but yeah, Pat Bev is now with the Sixers.
Oh yeah, I had that in my notes. I hadn't said it, so I'm glad you did.
Oh,
But yeah, another reason why 76ers to me are just obviously a top three team with the addition of Patrick Beverly. Like the Eastern Conference outside of those three teams just didn't do enough to to consider themselves contenders.
Knicks. Did I miss the Knicks?
I had the Knicks in my top five.
You have the Knicks. Okay, so give me the top five one more time so I can write it down.
It was the Bucks at number one, Celtics, 76ers, Heat, and Knicks.
Oh, hear me out. Um, again, no order here. Bucks, I do see being in top five just because Giannis got his little whole villain arc. He's trying to prove, you know, he got butt hurt at the end of the last season because he got booted real early, especially to the 8 seed. It's a little crazy. So I feel like he's out looking for revenge. Um, then as far as the Celtics go, that is my team. I'm gonna stand by them. But choices they are making right now is, I'm not gonna lie, kind of scaring me. But it's all part of the plan, so I'm keeping them in my top five. Um, Sixers, of course, I'm keeping them in the top five as well. They don't know what they're doing with James Harden quite yet. There's been rumors that he might want to ask for a trade to leave.
I think James
But
Harden gets traded. I think it's more likely
yeah,
than not that he gets traded.
but I do feel like with Pat Bev coming to the Sixers, um, that's also giving them a dog. He's gonna work hard. He's gonna hustle. That's something Joel Embiid needs. Um, Maxi, he's doing better. I still see him growing as a player. So I'm keeping them. I'm not sure if they're, depending on what happens with James Harden and who they receive. If James Harden does leave, it's going to determine if I consider them high on my top five or a little lower on my top five. But I still consider them top five. Heat goes. This is also depending on what happens with Damian Lillard. If he does go to the Heat, Heat is definitely, I feel like it's definitely gonna be top five without a doubt. Um, but again, like I said, it just depends on the trades because I feel like there's a lot of trades that are not completely done in the East, and so it's more like you kind of have to wait, see what's going on before you can say what is final. Just because the Knicks, I'm gonna say right now, I don't see the Knicks being my top five. I have the Nets over them, honestly.
You got the Nets over the Knicks. What do the Nets have? What are the Nets able to bring that the Knicks aren't? Because like when I look at the Nets, I'm not really seeing much. I'm not really seeing what you're talking about here, Kodak. Let me go ahead. Let me look it up. They signed Cameron Johnson, Dennis Smith Jr., and Lonnie Walker. Oh my gosh, those are huge pieces that are going to equate to the level of the Jalen Brunsons and the R.J. Barretts and the the Julius
The Julius.
Randles and the Mitchell
Oh,
Robinsons of the New York Knicks.
I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that. So, first of all, the Nets, their team was basically the Nets team that they do have now was basically thrown together at the very last minute of last season. They started off with
Right.
KD and Kyrie, Ben Simmons. Everybody thought, oh, they're gonna be a force. Steve Nash was the coach. Da da da. All of a sudden, shit hit the fan.
Right.
Kyrie left, KD left. Then you just got these teams. I mean these players that haven't played with each other long, but they were doing something at the same time. Get what I'm saying? So I feel like now that they have a off season to work with each other, Claxton can come back stronger. Now that they got a good solid rotation that they should be having, um, Cameron Payne's gonna be not Cameron Payne. I'm sorry. Um, is it Cameron Payne or Cameron Johnson?
Cameron Johnson.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I feel like all those they have a solid players on the team. They just
They
didn't have
do.
really good chemistry.
They do,
And so
but like
I just feel like, and then also comes again with this whole Damian Lillard trade. So if something happens where he does go to the Nets, right? Depending on who the Nets send out, that could be a potential good team. I see them. I just feel like the Knicks, though. I'm gonna tell you why I don't have the Knicks in my top five.
you didn't did
Because
you have the Heat in your top 5?
yes, the Heat's
Okay.
definitely my top five.
Okay.
But this is all just depending on where the moves are going. But the Knicks are not in my top five because I feel like one, it comes to the fans again. When they lost the playoffs, did you see how those Knicks fans reacted? They they took jerseys, they were burning jerseys. It's like they traded the whole team already. And I don't want to go in playing for a team that doesn't respect me. Now I've seen, and it might be just clickbait, or it might just be rumors. Julius Randle might not want to be in New York anymore.
Now
He,
that's very possible, but I see Julius Randle being the type of player that he likes a big stage. Like if Julius Randle was scared of the big moment, he would have never signed with Kentucky. He would have never committed to Kentucky when he
I
was 17 years old.
I feel like their time is done. Last season was the season for them to do what they needed to do. They kind of folded, and I don't see it happening again. I honestly don't. Like, I could be wrong, but I just don't. I'm not putting them on the top five because I don't see it happening again for them.
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't know if it. It's like I said, them fans, bro. The way they be saying "fuck Trey Young" every time that man comes, and oh, don't even get me started on Trey Young, man. John Collins left. He's in Utah now
Yes, he absolutely is.
with
Which
Jordan
is
Clarkson.
which is a great
And
pickup for Utah. I'm not sure if it's enough to put the Jazz in the playoffs. Maybe it is, but I think that's a huge pickup. I think if the Jazz make one, I think the Jazz are one of those teams that are one move away.
yes, and the Jazz is in the East, isn't it? Not? Are they not?
Nah, they're in the
If I'm
West.
wrong. Oh, that's the team I didn't talk about in the West. But I feel like another team that could be potential to watch in the Eastern, but I know they're probably not gonna go as far, but they might, make some noise a little. Is Jordan Poole and the Wizards? I should say
Yeah,
Wizards.
now the Wizards have done a lot. The Wizards have done a lot. They've brought in Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala. They re-signed Kyle Kuzma to a 4-year deal. They bring in Jordan Poole, Ryan Rollins, Landry Shamet. The Wizards have done a lot, and I said this earlier. This is a huge reason to why the Heat and the Knicks round out my top five in the East. Is I don't see a lot of contendership in the East. So the Wizards could easily be a top five through five, six, seven, 8 team. Even if they're a 9 or 10 team, that still puts them in the playoff tournament where they could still. We just saw the Los Angeles Lakers, who were a play-in team, make it to the conference finals, and we watched the Miami Heat, who were a play-in team, make it to the NBA finals. So, if you can make it to the play-in tournament, you can make it to the championship. That's already been proven. Whether it happens again or it doesn't, it can happen. It happened at a very early stage in this play-in tournament. So it's already been proven to be a useful mechanism for teams to say, okay, we may have not have been that great during the regular season, but right now we're going to be better than you. The Utah Jazz could be one of those kind of teams. Just as a team like the Houston Rockets. We talked a lot about the Houston Rockets tonight. The Houston Rockets could easily be a play-in team that becomes that's pedestrian during the regular season, but becomes super dangerous in the playoffs. A team like the Pelicans, regardless of what the Pelicans can be, as long as the Pelicans can make the play-in tournament, they can be dangerous come playoff time. I would like to put the Raptors in that category, but I just don't believe in the Raptors at this point. Like I feel like the Raptors, if any team in the NBA, the Raptors just has no sense of identity. Like they just don't know what they're doing with themselves right now.
Okay, hold on, because we didn't even talk about Cleveland.
We didn't talk about Cleveland at all. But and Cleveland just brought in Max Strus. They just signed George Nang, which is a very capable shooter from the outside as far as being a big man goes. They re-signed Karis LeVert. The Cleveland Cavaliers can be very dangerous. They could arguably be one of the most dangerous teams in the Eastern Conference. They could probably be the dark horse of the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. So I'm glad you brought them up. I don't even know how we went this long without talking about them. We talk about the Washington Wizards being able to make noise. The Cleveland Cavaliers could make some serious noise this season.
And did you say the Pacers?
Yeah,
Dang, I'm looking at the Eastern Conference right now, and your boy just went to the Pacers.
I get it. I get it that Bruce Brown goes to the Pacers, but like
You don't think it's enough?
yeah, I don't think it's enough. I get it. They got Tyrese Halliburton. They re-sign him on a 5 year deal. They bring in Obi Toppin. I think the playoff. I think the Pacers will be a playoff team, but I think they're pretenders. Like I think they're good enough to make it, but I don't think they're good enough to win. And until they make some changes or they decide let's commit here or let's commit there, they're not going to be good enough to win. So I think they'll be a playoff team, but I don't really see them as like legit. For making a trade for a player like Damian Lillard. Why can't why can't the Chicago Bulls offer up a package of Zach Levine and picks? If Portland
No,
if Portland doesn't really have any options, why can't Chicago get in there?
because Damien's not going to. He's not going to want that.
It doesn't matter
He
what
wants to go.
it doesn't matter what
It
he
does.
wants. No,
It does.
it doesn't.
It does. It does.
He
Because
he does.
at the end of the day, I think I think that the organization of Portland, even though they are losing him, they give him that much respect to at least have a say so of a team that no, I'm not going to that team. You get what I'm
But
saying? Just
it,
because
I get it that he should
I
have an opinion, but from the statements that Portland has put out has given me very different feelings. Portland is not opposed to talking to other teams. Damian Lillard made it clear that he wants to go to Miami. Portland is not focused on making a Miami deal right now. They're focused on making a Portland deal right now. And with Damian Lillard not having a no trade clause and him not having any legit say, he's going to go wherever Portland trades him to.
who's to say he doesn't just walk away from that team?
I mean, he can, but what is he? I believe he still has 2 years on the books. So even if he wants to walk away from the team that trades for him, it's not going to be until 2025 at the earliest.
I just don't see it. I don't see them trading anybody from the Bulls. Like, who does? You said Zach Levine. What is that really gonna bring?
Now, I agree. I agree. What does that really bring? But if you're looking at now, the best thing you can say about Zach Levine is if you bring him in, then you're fine with him coming off the books. Him coming off the books just saves you a lot of money. If you let Damian Lillard Lillard just walked away in free agency. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think he's gonna last that long for free agency. Honestly think once he hits free agency, he's probably gonna be done. I'm gonna be real. I don't
Who,
see him maybe
who,
two
who
more,
Lillard?
3 years.
Levine?
No, I'm just saying Damian Leonard. I don't the way he's saying right now is he doesn't want to play for long. Like he's already at that age.
Damian.
I understand. Not everybody's LeBron out here where they just
That,
kind of.
that's true. That's true too. Damian Lillard,
I think
I'd be surprised if Damian Lillard doesn't play for another 5 seasons. If
I
Damian,
honestly feel like if he gets his ring, within these 2 years, he's gonna call it quits because that's all he wants. Now,
I,
if he gets on a team and they become like back to back champions, then he might continue to play until that time is up. But I just honestly feel like if he does decide to play 5 more seasons, it's not gonna be a lot of minutes from him. I think he's at his.
I completely disagree. I think Damian Lillard is currently in his prime. I think he still has another 3 to 4 seasons in his prime. I think he still has another maybe 3 or 4 seasons after that. So we're looking at about 6 to 8 more seasons of Dame time. I think we're looking at about 8 more
So if that's
seasons
the case,
of Dame time, and we could see another 2 seasons
if
after
that's the
that
case,
of Damian Lillard.
why? Okay, 5 seasons of Damian Leonard, he'll be 30, 38, 37, right? Actually, he'll be 38, 39 because his birthday's coming up.
That's a great
So
point. That's a great point.
I think, like I said, not everybody out here like LeBron. He's in great shape for his age. He in such good shape that they gotta drug test this man because they think he's doing steroids. But at what point of your life? Because I honestly feel like a lot of these players who stay in for this long is chasing one thing, and that's that ring. Like for
Agreed.
instance,
Agreed.
Carmelo Anthony, great player, never got a ring. He stayed in that long. He finally retired, but I feel like he stayed in that long, hopping from team to team because he was looking for that ring. Um, the like we can't compare him to LeBron because LeBron has multiple rings. He's only in here for one reason, to play with his son. He wants to play one season with his son and then that's it. But the way they be treating his body, homeboy might not make it. That's
So,
why I say Lakers need to make sure they got players that are going to help him and not stress him out.
so
But
I'll give
back to
you.
Damian Leonard. Go ahead.
I give you two outcomes for Damian Lillard. What two scenarios do you think works out for Damian Lillard that gives him the most longevity in the NBA? What do you because I know you said maybe if he goes to a team where like they're back-to-back champions or they have a chance to repeat or they have a chance to compete for multiple championships, maybe that can entice Damian Lillard to stay long. If you could give me two teams where Damian Lillard's career lasts the longest. What gives Damian Lillard that larger window?
To go to a super team, to be real. A guaranteed win.
So you think a team like the Nuggets or the Celtics? He needs to go to the Nuggets or he needs to go to the Celtics.
Right now, the way the Celtics are set up, I don't think that's the team. He could go to the Nuggets. I would say the Nuggets would probably take him there. But the way the Celtics are right now, because then you got to think again, who do we have to give up to get him?
Yeah,
We have to give up JB.
yeah, but you think about it. You think about it. Jason Tatum just came off a season averaging 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
Kristaps Porzingis just came off his best statistical year. And then you have a player like Damian Lillard, who is a prime time scorer and closer. Now, this has been the biggest problem with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum has
He's not
not
a closer.
he's not a closer. That fourth quarter comes and he disappears.
Yeah, that's true. And
Damian Damian Lillard
that's why I get
fixes
so
that.
mad about it, about him and what's called. Oh, okay. Hear me out. No, because who would they give up for that? Because I was gonna say a reunion, C.J. McCollum, Damian Leonard, Zion Williams.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
They not. And then on top of that, you gotta think again: is Zion gonna be ready? Because if not, you're just gonna be in that same position where it was C.J. McCollum and Damian Leonard,
Exactly.
and then it's not,
Exactly.
you know. So I would say right now, if I say two teams,
Can make multiple different type of now regardless whatever trade you make, Austin Reeves is probably
so now you got two old heads on the team,
that's true though, but
and then you got Anthony Davis.
but you
And
put
then,
you put Damian Lillard with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. There's no way that's not the favorites to win the NBA championship.
no, it's
I
not.
don't see a world I don't
Or
see a
definitely
world where that's not
everybody
the
would say.
favorites.
I feel like everybody would say that's definitely gonna be the team. But I just feel like
And then you think about it. You think about it
that's
like this: if you trade away D'Angelo Russell, you trade away Austin Reeves, you trade away who else did we just say? What did I say?
Oscar is wait, who you
Austin
say?
Reeves, D'Angelo Russell. Oh
A
yeah,
couple
probably
of picks.
yeah, first round picks and stuff like that. Even if you give up another role player like Tariq Place or Jackson Hayes, you still have Gabe Vincent coming off your bench. Wombo, what's
Mhm.
going on, bro? You still have players like Gabe Vincent. You still have players like Roy Hachimura. You still have players that are there.
Yeah.
It's not
Uh,
like it's not like
say the
this.
Lakers.
It's not like the Sun situation where you make one trade and now your entire rotation is gone. You can make a trade and
Oh,
preserve your rotation.
but see, this is another. I was gonna say a team like that.
Why am I lagging? Cause you came into the chat. You already know when you come into chat, I got a lag. So you know, I don't know. It starts to get wonky later in the night. I don't know why, but it does. But it is what it is. But anyways, I like it. Nuggets with the 2P. But if you're the Grizzlies, um, obviously any package you give up probably starts with Desmond Bain. That's where most of your money is tied up at. But if if you're okay with giving up the package of a Desmond Bain and possibly Derrick Rose once he becomes available, um, that depends on Portland. That depends on Portland and where they gauge Desmond Bain's level at and what they think Desmond Bain can be as a player. Because if you're not, he's like
He's still
26.
young. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I just feel like either they're looking for a certain vet or they're looking for just new. I don't think there's no way I'm passing up on Tyler Hero. Yeah, he was injured, but he's coming back from injury. He could play.
Right.
He's a shooter. It's just depending on who they're trying to build around in Portland right now. I feel like that's what they're probably looking into too.
Exactly, because now that's the biggest thing. Like Portland, when you look at what Portland did, where are they at? I know they re-signed. Yeah, they re-signed Jeremy Grant 5 years. They didn't do anything. They did nothing else outside of that. Everything that Portland does hinges on what they do with Damian Lillard. So, do I think they're panicking? No. But do I think they're waiting to move on? Yes. They are absolutely waiting to move on from Damian Lillard. They no longer want to be in this saga. They no longer want to be in this era. They no longer want to deal with the trials and tribulations that is another season with Damian Lillard and these empty expectations that cannot. If we're not going to get anything better than what we currently have, we'll just keep what we have. And I think that's where Portland is at right now, which is a very dangerous place to be at.
Hmm. Well, I feel like this was a very, you know, good discussion that we had today.
We definitely got to the nitty gritty of all of it.
Hmm. I definitely feel like we should, after some more trades happen, we should definitely come back to this and, you know.
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie. I thought we would probably have like a strong hour in us at the most. I was thinking this was gonna
Been on here
last
for two
like,
hours.
yeah, I was thinking this was going to last like 35, 45 minutes. Like to the point where there were certain times in the day where I was like, yeah, we going to play Fall Guys after we get done like talking about everything cuz I just didn't think it was going to last that long. But
Yeah.
we definitely got to the nitty-gritty of everything and it was like I I might just upload the whole stream.
Yeah. When it comes to sports, a lot of people don't think girls know a lot about sports. But when it comes to basketball, I'm a good ass fan. I like to look into teams and everything, especially when the beginning season with trades. I'm very like,
I see.
especially with my boyfriend. We
I
go to 2K and we'll do like be a GM. I get
yeah.
so into I get so intense into that because I want the best team. So yeah, um, yeah.
I see,
I had
cause
track
I was expecting like a lot of
and
like
tennis. If we ever decided to buy
I,
tennis,
I was expecting like a lot of yes, no. I wasn't expecting like so much like bounce back and like being able to like bounce off each other. But it was like it's easy to talk sports with you because you know what you're talking about. What y'all think if the Raptors trade Siakam to the Hawks without giving Murray, Trey, or Clint?
oh
Well,
shoot, if the if,
who are the Raptors getting if they're not getting any of
yeah,
them?
see that might be another team that just wants to rebuild because
Yeah, the
you
Raptors
know
have to. They have
they just got what's call it to the team. Like I said,
Dennis Schroeder,
yeah, and but
but they
not
didn't
getting
really do enough.
Murray,
Like
Trey.
they got Jalen McDaniels, they got Jacob Pirtle, but they're not really doing enough to like. I mean, I guess they could probably make the playoffs in the East, but for what to get bounced out of the first round?
I Dick.
Aj Kobe. Who the hell is Aj Kobe? That sound like an anime character. You start naming people from Kuroko's basketball. You're not even naming real NBA players. You ever seen you ever seen Kuroko's basketball?
Oh yeah, I have.
I just finished it. I just finished watching the movie today. That shit was gas. I actually want to rewatch it, but not right now because I just watched it. But I definitely want to rewatch it.
Well, Murph, I am actually gotta go. I gotta go eat dinner. Our pizza just got here.
Alrighty, well, you have a great rest of your night. It's always great
Thank
hopping
you.
on
If you're
stream
still
with you.
streaming, I'll be in chat if you are still streaming. But yeah.
I think I'm gonna call it a night. I got my last day of work of the week for tomorrow, so I'm gonna probably try to go to bed early so I could wake up early and knock that out.
Oh, tomorrow is Thursday. You get
Yep.
powder, right?
Yep.
Oh, so you probably won't be on.
Yeah, no, I probably won't be back on until like Sunday.
Okay. Well, I'll be down to talk about any trades in the future next week if you're on. Just let me know.
All right. Well, you have a great night. You guys enjoy dinner, and I mean, I'm sure we're gonna talk throughout the weekend. So I
100%.
I'll see you. I'll see you on call when I see you, but I'm sure I'll talk to you very soon.
All right.
All right,
Bye, One
Kodak.
Love. Bye, chat. Bye.
All right, Finesse Gang. Appreciate y'all tuning in for another stream. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna call it a night. What? AJ Griffin and Kobe. Bro, you're making up names. These are fake names that you're saying right now. These are not real names. These are not real names that you're saying right now. All right, but yeah, that's where I'm gonna wrap it up. We had our NBA discussion tonight. That's what the stream was for. So I appreciate everybody for tuning into the stream, and we will see you guys again on Sunday. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great rest of y'all night. Murph Finesse. I'm out.